wave of the future, dude. 100% electronic.
You know, the recent advancements in electronics and technology inside the boat has advanced so much in recent years with mapping, underwater cameras, trolling motor, and it really has sped up, which is very important, the fish finding process.
Look at right there, that's a muskie.
Now combine that with technology where your trolling motor and your fish finder talk together, and you can run the boat from your phone, from a remote, any place you're sitting in the boat. I mean, today's technology makes angling just incredible.
Welcome to AnglingBuzz TV presented by Fleet Farm. I'm Nick Linder. Now on today's show we're going to be talking all about using your electronics to find fish quickly. Now today's angler has a multitude of tools at their fingertips to do just that. Whether that be HD mapping, 2D sonar, 360 imaging, side imaging, down imaging, you name it. There's a lot of different things that we can utilize as anglers to find fish. Now our guest today is my good buddy Joel Nelson. He's an excellent multi-species angler, and not only that, but he's no stranger to utilizing his electronics. Now Joel, if you could say right now in today's day and age, what are a few keys to finding fish more quickly utilizing the tools that you have at your disposal?
You know, I don't think it's a secret. I'm a big map nerd, and in the big scheme of things, mapping's really the first feature I use on my electronics to find fish. And you know, the nice thing about a map is you don't even really have to be on the lake to make use of it. You know, prior to going out on the water, you can scroll through the map, analyze situations kind of dependent on the species you're looking to fish, and then identify key underwater structures and areas of the lake that I'm going to fish at any given day. And I kind of make a game plan in that regards prior to the boat really even getting off the trailer. And you know, at this time of year, maybe it's early season walleye, and we're concentrating on shallow shoreline flats and points and developing weed beds, rocks, rubble, figuring out those things on a map, getting a game plan going for the day, and going after that kind of structure is a great way to target fish without even ever getting out onto the lake just yet.
No doubt, walleye are a real fan favorite here in the Midwest. But let's say that I wanted to catch bass or panfish. What areas would I be looking for right now?
You know, crappies and bass, specifically, you're going to be focusing your efforts on some of the shallower bays, channels that warm up quickly, reed beds, developing cabbage bed, milfoil fields, some of the fallen isolated wood. All that stuff is really critical cover that gather fish, and you know, those fish are moving outside of spawning areas, and a lot of those fish this time of year are going to spread out in the flats directly adjacent to that. So you're also going to look at water temperature early in the season. Warmer water can certainly concentrate fish, and depending on some of the weather patterns going on, you might only be able to catch fish when the water is a lot warmer than surrounding areas.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There's still a lot of fish up shallow right now, but what are you doing to find fish as they move a little bit deeper?
You know, 2D sonar has been around forever, and the cool part about it is it's really the key to finding fish anywhere deeper than 8-10 feet of water. Probably the best feature you can have to quickly comb over water to find bait fish and game fish in some of those moderate to deeper water environments. And I can accurately see fish on my boat going upwards of 20 miles an hour or more. So that's where 2D sonar strength really fits in.
Now another technology that's really grown in popularity in recent years is side imaging. Now, could you just take a moment to explain what side imaging is and how you utilize it?
You know, for those anglers not familiar with this technology, kind of the best way I can explain side imaging is it's really underwater X-ray that shoots off to the sides of the boat. And, you know, it's a great tool for identifying cover elements, rock, wood, clumps of weeds. Fish really tend to concentrate on this kind of cover and edges, and it's easy to drive over a point, a sunken island, a flat, drop those coordinates on the side imagery screen, and transpose them on the map. And that way you've kind of got a milk run that you create from your side imaging that sets you up for the rest of your fish that day. And the key is really to use your electronics to your maximum potential. And the way you're going to do that is employing that mapping first, 2D sonar, and maybe side imaging third. I think that's really the best way to go about it.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Joel. Electronics have come a long way. Heck, now they even have technology where not only can you see underneath you, but 360 all around your boat. It's pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, now you found them, it's really up to you to figure out what they're willing to bite, and hey, it's time to start casting.
Thanks, Joel. Now don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we have more fish finding and catching strategies as Angling Buzz continues.
Want to learn how to catch more and bigger fish? Well, we've got the place for you. Introducing the Fish Head Video Library. Now you can enjoy hour after hour of educational videos right on your phone, tablet, laptop, desktop, or even stream videos right to your TV. Largemouth, smallmouth, walleye, catfish, muskie, pike and panfish, open water or on the ice. Check out Fish Head TV to rent, buy, or become a Fish Head member today.
Lake Vermilion. Explore. Relax. Reconnect.
Minnesota's most beautiful lake.
Get hooked on our trophy walleye,
That's a beauty.
bass,
My favorite fish.
musky fish.
That's a beauty there.
Things to do? You'll never get bored.
Rooms with a view? We got 'em.
Lake Vermilion. 4 seasons of fun.
You can't choose the weather, but you can choose outerwear that works. Technical apparel, rain gear, soft shells, sunwear, when you need to stay comfortable all day, choose Blackfish, because you can't choose the weather.
On the lake, in the woods, or on the ice, keep powered up with Bold North Outdoors portable power stations. Our rugged multi-service power station is marine grade, weatherproof, and powered by long-lasting lithium phosphate batteries. Charge cell phones, tablets, and GoPros, or power fans, lights, fish finders, underwater cameras, and more. Recharge anywhere with our solar panel charger. Wherever your adventure takes you, you'll have current and be connected with Bold North portable power stations.
Some lodges are just a cut above. Hawk Lake is one of those. They're the only Orvis-endorsed lodge in all of Ontario, and they're the 4-time finalists for the best Orvis lodge in all of North America. They feature cordon bleu trained chefs and offer some of the best freshwater fishing in the world. You can target trophy walleye, smallmouth bass, pike and lake trout on any of their 19 private lakes. Whether you fish with traditional gear or love fly fishing, Hawk Lake has you covered.
Welcome back to Angling Buzz. Now we're gonna head up to one of my favorite lakes, Lake Vermilion, where my dad and I break down how you can find fish with the depth highlight feature on your mapping units.
You know, today we're up on Lake Vermilion. You know, we filmed up here a lot over the years, primarily for walleyes and muskies, but Nick and I are on a little bit of a different mission. We're actually hunting one of our favorite fish species, and that's bass, specifically smallmouths, but we could potentially catch some largemouths too. But what we're gonna share with you is early season strategies and how to find bass on these big lakes like this. Lake Vermilion actually has a lot of smallmouth bass in it.
There's a lot of water to cover, but you know, if you can dial it into a few things, you can find them a lot quicker, right?
Absolutely. Well, you notice how I have my map set up initially to find fish. What I did is I actually set my chart up, and I have my depth highlight range, which is the green at 6 foot with a variance of 2 foot, so it's down to 8 foot. Anything shallower than 8 foot is green. And then I actually have my shallow water highlight at 5 foot, and that's probably where they're going to be spawning, on these shallow rocks, as well as any type of isolated bulrushes. But when I zoom the map out here, you'll notice what happens, and this is what's really key for early season fishing. Look at how all the big shallow flat bays and the rock piles, the shallow water, the 5 foot zones, actually light up in red. And you see that, you know what I mean? And we're gonna hopscotch these shallow water bays, these big flat shallow basins, looking for smallmouth bass and largemouth bass in the backs of these basins. But you can see how quickly that really sort of cuts your time down really quickly. You know, and each one of these spots is a little bit laid out different. This first spot we pulled up on is actually a lot of a big, sort of a rock saddle between an island and a shore point. And the tops of these flats are probably, you know, 3 to 4 foot deep, and that's why we're running just these shallow-lipped shadows. But the thing is one thing that's really key about this is depending, you know, because these fish can be utilized a variety of different habitats in these lakes. They could be on bulrushes, and then we got some swim jigs or topwater baits around those areas. You know, each type of cover option really could dictate the best presentation or the best lures for that area. You know, I'm up here on Vermilion where I have sort of a twofold mission here to do an early season bass piece, but also I fish this other tournament tour called the Classic Bass Champions Tour. And it's a lot of Minnesota, Wisconsin's really good anglers, and it's sort of an MLF format on Lake Vermilion in about a month and a half. So this gives me a pretty good idea. I've been sort of running all over the lake. Give me a little bit of an idea what the population of both largemouth and smallmouth will be by the end of the next couple of days of fishing.
What does the population look like?
I'm liking it. I'm pretty happy with the smallmouth population anyway. We'll have to do a little bit of investigation on the largemouths, but they say that there's a lot more largemouths on the west side of the lake, and there would be probably pretty good reason. I fish the west side of the lake quite a bit, Wakemup Bay area, Norwegian Bay, and Niles Bay, and the reason being there's a lot more big weed beds in that area, so it makes sense that there would be a lot more largemouths in that section of the lake.
Now that's just another feature to keep in mind when you're looking for fish early in the season like this. Now make sure you don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we have the Buzz Bite reports from across the region as Angling Buzz continues.
Like many of you, I've had back issues.
From the pounding waves of Lake Erie
to over 30 years of competitive angling.
And a lifetime on the water, but not anymore.
Smooth Moves changed the game.
It's a must-have for me and my clients.
It's like my boat is floating on air.
They're easy to install.
Fully adjustable.
It makes a day on the water a whole lot more comfortable.
Smooth your ride with Smooth Moves.
Looking for the perfect fishing vacation? Leech Lake, Minnesota. There's over 112,000 acres of water to explore, with fantastic walleye, bass, pike, panfish, and trophy muskies. The fishing opportunities are endless. Leech Lake has it all, with over 30 resorts, lodges, campgrounds, and hotels line its pristine shores. Plan your trip. It's Minnesota's original up-north vacation destination.
Sportfish Michigan is your #1 source for top charter captains and fishing guides in Michigan. Our network of professionals are full-time anglers with years of experience providing customers with the best possible fishing trip services. Fish for trout, salmon, steelhead on Lake Michigan or its famous tributary rivers, the Traverse City area's world-class smallmouth bass, walleye fishing on the Detroit River and Saginaw Bay, or northern Michigan's spectacular ice fishing. We do it all. Sportfish Michigan. Get out. Get bit.
Welcome back to Angling Buzz. Right now we have our Buzz Bite reports, and we're starting out in Michigan with Ben Wolf.
Down in the Detroit River, we have a fantastic walleye run going on. You know, these fish haven't been picked on for a lot of the spring, and now they're absolutely chewing. We've got some really good size, eater size, you know, 18, 20 inches is the average. Really fantastic fishing going on right now. Also, we have panfish. You know, these are a family-friendly thing to go after. Lots of bluegills, crappies, sunfish, they're getting up shallow, getting ready to spawn. You know, practice selective harvest, let the biggest ones go, but keep some for dinner. You know, they're lots of fun. Get out and have some fun with those, for sure. Up in Grand Traverse County, we have a fantastic Cisco and lake trout bite going. The Cisco and lake trout are fishing really well with blade baits. Just cast out, let it sink to the bottom, and just yo-yo retrieve those things back. You know, they're hitting really aggressively, and you know, we have some really good size this year as well.
And our next report, we're heading over to Wisconsin, where we join Jeff Evans.
Things are really coming together in northwest Wisconsin right now for a great spring bite. Water temperatures have warmed into the upper 50s and low 60s on most lakes. Muskie season is open. You'll find those fish close to shallow spawning bays. Smallmouth bass are moving shallow. You're going to find a lot of those fish in less than 10 feet of water. I like fishing them with suspending crankbaits or slow rolling plastics. Walleyes are moving to their first new weed growth in 4 to 6 feet of water on stained lakes, 8 to 12 feet of water on clear water lakes. And the crappie fishing has been outstanding. Focus your efforts there in less than 7 feet of water, and suspending plastics under slip bobbers is a great tactic. On Chequamegon Bay, smallmouth bass are biting great in shallow water in less than 7 feet. There's also a good lake trout bite going, trolling crankbaits behind planer boards in the top 20 feet of the water column.
In our next report, we're heading up north to Lake Vermilion with Billy Rosner.
Hey, it's just about muskie time up here in Lake Vermilion. Fish are post-spawn. They're back in these shallow bays. I like going in there in the afternoons when that water temperature peaks. You know, it rises 2 to 8 degrees some days, and that really turns these fish on. Actually, on the right conditions, you can sight fish them. Just make sure you have a good pair of polarized glasses. Be a little sneaky. I like using light tackle. I've caught a lot of big fish over the years on this 7-foot medium heavy St. Croix. I have it spooled up on a Daiwa ballistic with 20-pound braid. That is a blast. Or you go a little heavier. I like the 7.3 downsizer too with a bait caster. As far as baits go, I like the Rapple, the number 18 floating wrap, the Storm flat stick. I like the Blue Fox spinnerbait. I like that chartreuse blade. That seems to be a winner on Vermilion. That Super Shad, like a bluegill pattern, works good for me on Vermilion. A smaller suic works great, and then the swim baits, the 5.5-inch Storm 360, or even the 4.5-inch Storm 360s work great. So get out there, have a good time, get yourself a few muskies on Lake Vermilion. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next time.
And up next, we're going to Leech Lake with the boys from Leisure Outdoors.
Now's the time to be on Leech Lake, guys. The fish are biting, the fish are hungry. Walleyes are being found in the weeds, on the sand flats, on the main lake rocks. Right now, a jig and a minnow, a lindy rig and a leech, a crawler, even trolling crankbaits and using slip bobbers are all catching fish right now. You're going to want to key in on areas where you can find fresh green weeds, cabbage, chargrass on those flat areas, as well as some of the weedier bays, but also on the main lake, find those transition areas where you have the rock to gravel or sand to gravel areas, and those are going to be producing walleyes anywhere from 10 to 14 feet of water. Also finding panfish in some of the weedier bays as they've now moved out onto the weed flats, and that's a kind of an added bonus if you're up on Leech Lake. So right now, time of year, be on Leech Lake. The walleyes are hungry. Come on up and see us.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. Whether it's keeping the backyard birds well-fed season, mastering those retrieval skills season, or wondering who takes care of who season. There's a reason people say if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it, because we have it all. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Marine Pro, new from the makers of Seafoam Motor Treatment.
Marine Pro is a complete marine fuel system treatment for all types of marine engines. Just pour it in. When added to boat fuel, Marine Pro works to clean and lubricate critical engine areas, stabilize stored fuel up to 2 years, and help protect the entire fuel system from bad fuel and corrosion. Help your marine engine run smoother and last longer with Seafoam Marine Pro. Available now at Fleet Farm.
Customer first. That's their mission at Dondelinger Auto. It's not just about the sale. It's about giving you peace of mind for as long as you own that vehicle. Dondelinger is home to the lifetime powertrain warranty for new and pre-owned vehicles, plus 10 years of roadside assistance. They have an incredible variety of the most popular vehicles and offer pickup and drop-off for service. Stop in to experience the Dondelinger difference today.
Because boaters know and follow Minnesota's aquatic invasive species laws, 98% of lakes are not known to have any zebra mussels. 95% are not known to have any kind of invasive animals or plants. Let's keep it this way. Clean aquatic plants and animals from boats, trailers, and equipment. Drain all water from watercraft, including the motor, and keep drain plugs out during transport. Dispose of unused bait properly. Together, we're preventing the spread of aquatic invasive species in Minnesota.
Now it's time for this week's cool products brought to you by Fleet Farm. Now first up, let's look at the Northland Fireball stand-up jig. One thing you'll notice about this particular jig while you're fishing it is that the head of the jig will actually sit on the bottom and the hook will stand almost straight up. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna have your live bait or your plastic that's on the hook sitting up in the air, and sometimes that can be the ticket, sometimes that's what the fish prefer. Now moving over to something a little bit more aggressive, or maybe a lot more aggressive, is this Northland Rippin' Shad. You want something that's loud and has a lot of vibration. That's what this particular lure has. It's gonna call fish in from quite a ways away, and if they're aggressive, they will absolutely hammer it. Now something a little bit more subtle, these new number 6 Rapala slab wraps, they are gonna have some of the vibration that these Rippin' Shads have, but they don't have the BBs on the inside. It's another good option. In the early season like this, one great search bait option is a jerk bait. Now this bait right here is the Rapala Ripstop. This is the size 12, and this is a little bit of a bigger bait. It can get down to about 8 to 9 feet, which is really good this time of year as the fish start to move off a little bit deeper and you're fishing a little bit deeper water. Jerkbaits still work good as you get into early summer, but it pays to be able to fish them a little bit deeper. Now, if you're gonna be processing a lot of fish, walleyes, perch, crappies, etc., it pays to have a good electric knife, and these Bubba blades fit the bill. This particular unit right here is a corded unit, but it also comes in a lithium-ion model, and there's a number of blades that you can choose from depending on the size of the fish that you are cleaning. Now moving over to the Humminbird Helix 9. Now if you spend enough time on the water looking for fish, these Helix units are rock solid. Now of course it has mapping on it, it has chirp sonar, and there's different models of these units that might have side imaging, down imaging, etc. Now right behind the Helix unit right here, we have the Plano 3700 Guide Series tackle bag. You open it up here, you'll notice it's got room for a bunch of 3750 tackle boxes. Now another thing you'll notice on this box is that it actually has a number of magnets on the top. Now I'm gonna toss a couple jigs on here and you'll notice, stick right to it. So that's kind of handy if you happen to open up the bag here, they're still there. Kind of handy. While we're on the topic of storage and organization, these Rapala magnet tool holders are super duper handy. You can slap them just about anywhere. Really, really nice storage system to have in your boat. Now next up, we have the Gale 2.0 pullover from Blackfish. The material on the outside is weather resistant, and the material on the inside, the thermal core fleece lining, is extremely warm. It actually has a pocket right here in the front that is also lined with the thermal core fleece lining, and it'll keep your hands nice and warm. And it's got zippers if you want to keep gear in there. It's also super handy. This is the ultimate cold water pullover, and it's one of my favorites. Now next up, if you've never used a shallow water anchoring system, you're missing out. The Minn Kota Talon is an excellent tool when you're fishing in shallow water or when you're launching and loading your boat. Just click the button and your boat's not going anywhere. It's super handy. And what's great about the 10-foot model is that it's actually shorter than the 8-foot model and the 12-foot model, which means that you can get under bridges easier. You can pull your boat into the garage without having to tilt it down on a bracket. So make sure to check out the Minn Kota Talon Shallow Water Anchor. Now, all the products that we just talked about are available at your local Fleet Farm store or fleetfarm.com, but we have a couple more products we want to tell you about before we change segments. First up right here is the Bold North Outdoors Portable Power Station. What you'll notice when you get this thing is that on the inside, if you open it up, it has a lithium battery on the inside. Lithium batteries are totally the deal. They last a lot longer and they're extremely lightweight. You have USB ports, you have a 12-volt plug. On the front here, you actually have a flashlight and a UV light for glowing up jigs. And there's even more options on here too. You're just gonna have to take a look. Now, last but not least, one thing that you always wanna have with you is a headlamp. Now, a lot of the headlamps in the market right now have maybe like 300 or so lumens, but this one right here, the Wavy Label headlamp, has 2,000 lumens, so it's extremely bright. Not only that, but it's also rechargeable, so you're not gonna be constantly burning through batteries as you use this thing throughout the season. So even if you're not fishing at night, I would highly recommend having a headlamp. Have it charged up, have it ready to go. Now it's time for the technique of the week.
You know, the Lund pontoon has been a huge tool in our arsenal. We have lots of groups of families and just big groups of buddies. They don't want to go in 2 or 3 different boats. They want to be all together. So we'll fish 4, 5, 6 people at a time in here. And with this layout, the way they have it, you know, wide open, we can put 4 or 5, we fish up to 6 guys real comfortably. One thing they added on my new LX Lund pontoon here is Mercury's Vessel View. It's connected to my 204-stroke Mercury. We used to tap on our throttles when we're back trolling and try to get our speed just right. Now I hit a button, set it to Smart Troll, and I actually dial my RPMs by 10th, just like on the Smart Craft gauges and stuff, but this is a touch screen right in front of me and easy to use. It has Econo mode. It'll show you where your motor runs the most efficiently, more economical, and when you're on the water every day like me, that's important. The other feature is it'll connect right to my Lowrance graphs. I can run my down view, my side views, everything right through my Lowrances, and it's just like having another 9-inch graph if that's what I want at the moment. Just such a cool tool that I never thought I needed, and now I won't live without.
That's a fish.
Well, we got one on right now, so we're gonna get to this. And there you go, nice fish.
Wait.
That's how you end the day, kids. We got to grill, catch a bunch of fish trolling. What a day, what an awesome day.
Yeah, there's no question that the more you learn how to utilize your electronics, especially in today's day and age, the more fish you're gonna catch. Now make sure to tune in for next week's episode because we're gonna be talking all about swim bait fishing. And don't forget, the next time you're at the boat ramp, we wanna help stop the spread of aquatic invasive species. Remember, clean, drain, and dry. Well, that wraps up the show. Thank you for watching. I'm Nick Linder, and we will see you next week.
Want to learn how to catch more and bigger fish like largemouth and smallmouth bass? Or maybe you want to learn how to catch big walleye, monster catfish, or giant panfish all year round? Well, we got the place for you. Introducing the Fishhead Video Library. Now you can enjoy hour after hour of educational videos right on your phone, tablet, laptop, desktop, or even stream videos right to your TV. Is bass fishing your gig? We'll teach you everything you need to know about catching more largemouth and smallmouth bass. Or maybe you want to learn how to catch panfish like crappies and giant bluegills. Yep, we got you covered. After watching our panfish videos, you'll know when, where, and how to catch panfish no matter what the season. Check out Fishhead TV to rent, buy, or become a Fish Head member today.